So if you want to increase your tech confidence, you're going to need to get that familiarity. You're going to need to find rooms where people make space for you to really explore, to not understand things. All the experts coming to this have massive gaps in their knowledge. This is so novel. The people who deal with generative AI do not understand why it's suddenly got better at responding in a natural way with data that apparently hadn't been shown verbatim at a certain point in its training. You are not alone. I think that was my biggest epiphany when I was dedicating a lot of time to get up to speed with this in order to advise clients. People will be kinder than you expect them to be. If you form perhaps a user group at work or amongst your neighbours, with your friends, say, shall we have a play with this together? Find something that you really need to do, because necessity and novelty is going to be the mother of invention with this. Once there's something you need to do with it that it could help with. I really, really wanted to summarise some really meaty legislation about AI. So I found out how far it could and couldn't take me in doing that. I wanted to put together a resource plan for a project. And I found out how far it could and couldn't take me, and it helped me form a baseline of my relationship with AI.
I come across people who are scared of technology or wary of it, or think that life's easy enough without it and it's better just to get on with things as they always have done it. The problem with that is that if everyone else is using it, then you might get left behind. And I hate that fact. I hate that people might get left behind by just opting to not use a particular tool. But I think you do need to be aware of it and at least be mildly competent with it. Just like everyone is at least slightly competent with a smartphone these days, even if they can't use it to its maximum potential. So really, with AI, it is a case of play around with it.
The first thing to do to build confidence is to simplify it. It's a hugely complex world. AI as a science, as a topic, is a huge area and very, very confusing. And let's not try to pretend it's not. What I would do is to simplify it. Find out what you need to know from it. And again, use things like generative AI models and PyTalk to actually ask those questions. Explain this to me as though I'm a 10-year-old, or explain this in simpler terms, and keep pushing that model. Ask it again. Simplify it further, simplify it further. We don't need to be data scientists to survive or to flourish in the future. We just need a good basic understanding of what these technologies are, what they do, and their potential. Where we'll come in, where AI will never be able to compete, is we'll be the creative minds that think of where AI could benefit, could enhance, and could progress our lives. Artificial intelligence may never get to that stage, so we'll stay relevant for some time to come, and that's how we'll stay informed and keep working forward as well.
To get more confidence using AI, it is literally just a matter of practice. To master AI and to become amazing at it, yes, there may be other things like prompt engineering and some other clever things, but in the first instance, it's just giving it a go. The first step is always the hardest, and after that, it gets easier and easier and easier until you're using AI so much that you can't really remember a time when you didn't, because it is so useful for you. It can make you so much more productive, and that productivity means you can have so much more time enjoying other parts of your life. AI is not just here to make us work harder and smarter. I believe it's so we can work less, so we can become better human beings at a variety of other things that are much more important than just making money and just work.
But in terms of the psychology of change, I think because change is such a big concept, people think it's, you're climbing a mountain. The way you've got to think of it psychologically is sort of climbing sort of foothills. So it's one thing might lead to the next thing. It might not work, but so try it again in a different way. Don't be frightened to make mistakes. That's how you learn. Mistakes are a good thing because it shows you what does happen if you kind of do it the wrong way and what might happen if you do it the right way. So I think it's that kind of ability to just try slowly. And I think because if you say AI to people now, they're like, oh my God, yeah, it's running away, isn't it? It's in everywhere, it's everything. And people feel that they're getting left behind, when in actual fact, it's still quite in its infancy. So there's still lots of time for people to kind of slowly kind of get involved and get their confidence up and realize that, we're going to make mistakes with it. But AI makes mistakes in itself. It's not a complete 100% foolproof system. So if it makes mistakes and you make mistakes, we should be fairly okay with that. It's not going to kind of laugh at us and go, aha, what did he just feed into that kind of prompt there? That's just ridiculous.
So I talk an awful lot about the 4 states of focus where technology is involved. The state 1, which is we're surrounded by technology. There's notifications and distractions happening, all at once. We are multitasking. We're usually not particularly effective or efficient. And that's the state that most of us find ourselves in. There's the opposite state to that, which is state 2, which is where you've gone, to hell with technology, I'm going to have a piece of paper and I'm going to have a pencil, and that's all I'm going to have. Well, that's fine if you're Aristotle, but most of us don't have the benefit or the luxury of being able to work in that way. So then there's a third state of focus, which is you've kind of become aware that technology might be distracting for you. So you've started to turn off some of your notifications. You may have actually moved some of the distracting devices like your phone even away from the workspace, but potentially out of the office. And you can have an increased cognitive focus and capabilities because of that. And that's great. But then there's this fourth area, which is you've gone through that journey and that process of learning how to work with technology. And then you come back and use some of the benefits of technology like AI to actually turbocharge your productivity, and you sort of achieve a superhuman state of efficiency.
Part of the issue with confidence comes from not understanding the risks. And I almost worry about saying this, because if people do understand the risks, they might be even less confident playing with the technology. But that uncertainty drives a lot of the problem, I think, and understanding what the real risks are. So, what might happen? Educate yourself in that first. What might happen if I use this piece of technology? Well, if you're putting out just, nonsense information or something that doesn't really matter very much, the risks are very, very low. So then you can go and experiment and play. I think you want a great level of caution if you're dealing with sensitive data, whether that is financial information, personal information, or company information. But if you're just dealing with fiction or theoretical scenarios, you can go and play to your heart's content.
If somebody had never touched this before and was scared of technology, scared of AI, and just didn't want to go anywhere near it, I would say if you know any children, get them to show you. Because children will explain things to you in a very basic way. And because they've kind of grown up with it, it won't seem scary or difficult to them. And they'll tell you things in a way that you wouldn't see it otherwise. I mean, you can go and do a local course on it, you can go and talk to your local techie nerd, but they'll probably terrify you. So my best advice would be ask your own kids, or if you don't have any, ask somebody else's kids.